Life has a way of painting a picture long before we even understand what it's creating. Every moment, every choice, every path leads us to something greater. Then love adds its color. Bound by love, strengthened by family and friends, this couple share a vision of a brighter future, one built on compassion, community, and hope for generations to come. This is the story of Kathy and Kent Hiltsley.
I grew up in a really dysfunctional home. I grew up in Richfield.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in a very, yeah. So, and it was very, it was right, they were World War II homes. It was right after World War II. We were the baby boomers. It was very white. It was just white. There was one
Richfield?
Yeah, it's still, yeah. I think it's more diverse than when we grew up. Right.
Correct.
But when I grew up, there was one black family in the neighborhood.
Wow.
And I remember very clearly my mom was not racist and very embracing of people, and my dad was very racist. So I remember even the tension in our own house over that. I remember being friends with the only black girl in the neighborhood, and the things that she would tell me that she would experience, even in our neighborhood or at the school. And I remember my mom, the indignation my mom would have over how people up the street were being oppressed because of color, and I remember just sitting there thinking, okay, Mom, like I'm 6. I'm not sure what you want me to do, but help me to understand what you want me to do at 6, right? But she was always, my mother was always a social justice warrior type person, and so she would always advocated for people who were being oppressed. Although I think for herself, she felt oppressed as a woman, still the age where women still couldn't. In my household, it was very patriarchal, so it was that injustice for her that I don't think she understood, nor did anybody. And my dad was rageful. My dad was just he was angry, and so then my dad would be rageful, and then my mom would be angry. And sometimes it felt like a war zone in our house just because of the anger and them not being able to find ways to communicate with each other. Both of them had so much shame that they couldn't meet each other. So it was, that part was very, very hard. And, yeah, and I remember good times of being outside playing kick the can and Annie over, and being with my friends. And it was also a time where I remember my mom will never let me forget this, that I was Lutheran and the girl next door to me was Catholic, and somehow I got indignant over that issue, like standing at her door stomping my feet about me being Lutheran and her being Catholic. I don't remember how it even went, but so we would ride our bikes up and down the street. We would go to the Snyder's down the street. Yeah. So and then we grew up in the Vietnam era, and going to the protests or going for a walk for mankind, and knowing early on that I had from my mom this looking at the world through the eyes of social justice work.
I grew up in Southwest Minneapolis. I kind of lived at the Lake Harriet, Bede-Makaska, around the lakes in Minneapolis, and it was a decent upbringing as a kid. And I never saw real anger in my household as far as ragefulness or anything. So I thought it was an Ozzie and Harriet kind of family, because I never saw it. However, it was all covert and under the table with my folks. But I managed to get through there. and I did grow up in a very racist family. My father and three older brothers were all racist pigs, and I could never understand it.
Wow.
I guess by the grace of God, I never got touched with that, and I always throughout my whole life went, why do you treat people like that? You know, they put their pants on the same way as you and me. And the ultimate of this whole thing and my upbringing and stuff is my nephew started going out with this African woman, and he started bringing her to family gatherings. And of course, when it first happened, my father was like, you know, and it was like, he was never mean or nasty or anything, but it was always like, this is different. And so it was so cute because every time Hulda would come to a gathering or something, the very first thing she would always do was go and give my dad a big old bear hug. And so this went on for about 10 years, and they ended up getting married. And then my father went through the final days of his life in hospice, and I was fortunate enough to be there with him for a lot of it. And to see my father do a full turnaround in his thought process. On his deathbed, he said, when Hulda came into this family, it's the best thing that ever happened to this family.
Wow.
And because it released a lot of that racism when they really saw what it was all about. You know, life is important and color of skin is not, you know,
Right.
or at least it shouldn't be.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was my upbringing. And I still have a heart for people and for helping where I can help. And that's kind of who I am. I had been working for a wallpaper company, just in a warehouse, just packaging up wallpaper orders. And I started noticing that a lot of the people who were coming in were good people with driving decent vehicles and nice people, the installers coming to grab their wallpaper. So I asked them, I said, so how do I become a wallpaper hanger? And they went on to say, well, there's a trade school in town here, you can go there. And so I signed up and I went to trade school and out in Hennepin County Vocational Technical School. And that's where Kathy and me met.
I was doing the administrative
stuff,
so I
yeah.
had gone to school there because I wanted to be a social worker, but I didn't have the money to be one. So I thought, well, I'll go to school and get and do administrative work, and then I can afford to pay my way through college. And then I met Kent, and then I didn't go back to school. So.
And since we met, it's been almost 50 years of pure bliss.
Wow.
No problems whatsoever.
Well, I was riding to school with another woman who liked Kent.
Okay.
So I tried not to. And Kent had very long hair when he had hair down to his butt.
Wow.
Right. And so I wasn't so impressed at first because the long hair was like, oh, I'm not sure.
He's an old hippie.
Yeah, he was and mostly because of the lady I was riding with, I was afraid I was going to lose my ride. So I was trying not to. Yeah, so I think that.
And I had no desire for this other lady either. It was whatever.
He did, but I didn't want it. Yeah, so I think that I didn't. I think I was not. My first impression was not, this is the guy or anything. It was just part of this whole crew of. We ended up as the administrative people having to do the resumes for the painters and wallpaper hangers in that trade thing.
Wow.
So we met a lot of the different tradespeople. So I think it took a few minutes for me to have an impression about him until we started going out and talking and
Hanging out. Yeah.
hanging out. Yeah.
Well, at that particular point in my life, it was more of a friendship and a girlfriend. And long term wasn't even on the table because I didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring. We were still in the middle of the Vietnam crap, and it was like, am I going to get called up? It was one of those deals. And so But then as we hung out and did more and more stuff together, it was kind of like, yeah, I think this might work.
I think by that time, though, the Vietnam stuff
It was just
over.
winding down. Yeah.
It was over. But I think part of what happened was we both came from very dysfunctional homes, and we both partied a lot. We were both trying to find
yourself.
our way.
I never partied.
Yeah. We both partied a lot, and I think that that was, part of the culture then. I think there was a lot of that happening, right? And so I think that that our first connection was not like it just was about being friends. There was sort of a feeling in that that we were not just us, but the people around us. That's kind of what we were doing. So, yeah.
It was an understanding of what anger can do to a relationship.
Okay.
And also how it can slow down a true relationship. And so, have we had anger in our relationship? Absolutely. But it's never been a violent situation or anything of that nature. It's always been more of a he said, she said type of deal. And so in my viewpoint.
So I was just asked this question by my therapist a couple weeks ago. Like, one of the things she said to me is, "Why can't you be angry, Kathy?" Because I had a situation, and I read something to her, and she goes, "Well, I'm mad at your brother. How come you're not?" And I'm like, "Well, I didn't have an answer. I didn't at that point." She said, "The problem with you is you don't know your emotions. You don't know how to identify. You don't understand them." So I think for us, as we got into our relationship and as we started to have kids and we started to do life, I did not have the tools for that. So if I was angry and I would be talking to Kent, then I would also feel shamed because I'd think, I'm not supposed to be angry, and I'm for sure not to be supposed to be angry like my parents were, because that didn't create any kind of relationship. So, and then Kent had no idea at all what any anger was, because his parents never, showed. So if I would get loud, he'd back up and stand and go, "Well, you can't be angry." So we have had to, over the years, do a lot of work on discovering who we are.
Right.
Actually, that's part of what the journey's been.
Yep.
And there were times that did it feel safe to be in a relationship? No, because neither of us knew what we were doing.
And also through this whole process, we're different people.
Correct.
And how do we? Are we going to fight it or are we going to blend it?
Right.
And so we've learned pretty good how to blend it. Well, we've been together for 51 years. We've been married.
Oh, my goodness.
We've been married for 47. I think it's 47 years now. August 26th, that's when we got married. I can still remember our wedding day.
I was impressed.
I remember the day well. But there was a lot of alcohol and stuff going on at the party at a wedding reception. But I do remember it was a lovely day. But the funny thing about us and our wedding was not a big deal to either of us, or at least it wasn't to me. It's like, should we get married? It was one of those kind of deals. It's like we've been together for quite a few years. We kind of tolerate each other pretty good. So it's like, maybe we should just get married. So we did.
Yeah, that is exactly, I think, how it happened.
Yeah.
I don't even think I know how we ended up. Yeah, I don't think you proposed to me.
No, I
It was
didn't.
just more
No.
like,
I think we should probably just do this,
Yeah. So I think about that. You see all the movies or whatever, these podcasts of, they spend all this time setting up for
The pre-wedding.
We didn't have that big production. It was like, I guess we better do this. So, yeah, so that's kind of, and neither one of us, I grew up Lutheran and he grew up Catholic, and I didn't want to do it in the Lutheran church. I was no longer connected to that piece. We had a big blow up in my high school years with our youth pastor, who ended up dating a woman that was in my youth group, and so I was kind of like,
Wow.
so I did not want to get married in that church because of all the things that had happened. And he grew up Catholic and really wasn't interested in the church, but his mom was very Catholic, and if we didn't get married in the church, she wasn't sure she was going to come.
So we made an appointment with the church that I grew up in Southwest Minneapolis, and to meet with the priest there. And one of the first things he said to us was, "How much money can you afford to give to the church?" And it's like, well, that's kind of weird, we're just coming to get your blessing to get married. I mean, yes, we can give money to the church on a basis, but and then as he continued to talk, he said, "What's your guys' living situation?" And I go, "Well, we've been living together for a couple of years," and all of a sudden his hands go up in the air. "Oh, you got to separate right now," and it's like, but we've already consummated our marriage, our relationship. So what difference does that make? Oh my gosh! So at that particular point, we came to realize that this is probably not going to work getting married in the Catholic Church. And so at that point, we decided we both love the outdoors, and so we found a little church out west of the cities where they have an outdoor place to do services and weddings and stuff, and so that's where we ended up getting married.
The things that have happened in our life have been hard because we haven't had the proper tools to do things together. Neither of us got them from our parents. So coming into the relationship, we had no tools about how do we talk about these things. And we did try. We went to a Catholic, they had a engagement retreat. And we did try, but that didn't meet the need that we've had through the years to have the conversations we've needed to come to agreement or come to being ourselves in it. So I think that's the challenge, that on the journey we've had to bring our lives that were dysfunctional and find the tools we needed to do the long haul. And that has been a challenge. It's still a challenge because
Wow.
I'm still learning things about myself, and he's still learning things about himself that change the way we think or that we feel or see the world. I never, ever felt loved by my father when I was little. Now, as I got older, he changed some. But so I brought that into all of my life because that's what I knew. And what I'm learning is that my emotions have really driven a lot. I have more self-help books than you probably see at the library, just so you know.
Fact.
So I have tried to understand what is wrong with me, right? I think because I would talk about it, I was the problem. And then it was not easy for us to get beyond that. And the therapist that we then went to together said to Kent, Kathy's not the problem. The problem is the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And neither of you have the tools to address the problem. And you are different. So you both address it differently, you see it differently, and that's what you have to work on, right?
Big chunk of my change in life and my learning process was I was always an impatient person. And in almost everything in life, business, driving, relationships, you name it. And the change for me happened one day when the beginning was I was driving my car and I was going up to Robbinsdale or some suburb up north, and I had to stop at a stoplight, and the cars in front of me weren't going, and it turned green, and it was like I was getting even more impatient, and it's like, what are you doing? Does this really matter? I mean, so you're there 10 seconds later. Does it really matter? And that was the beginning of me getting an understanding of, deal with some of this stuff. other than voicing how I feel, I can't change a lot of the political system other than
Right.
voting, and with all the crazy racism that's going on with ICE and all that stuff right now, that's difficult for me to watch from the sidelines, and so we've gotten involved in that whole issue, but it's like, yeah, it's just we're not living in a user-friendly world right now, and what do we do with that? You know, do you just curl up into a ball and hide? That's not me.
Right.
You know, and we got to push through and try and help people where we can help them. And that's what we do.
I think for me, it's a constant reflection of who I am and what I do in the world we live in. And that goes to the relationship I have with Kent. Having met Kent and being with Kent, he's probably one of the kindest people I know. He's probably one of the people who would be there for somebody when they need it. He doesn't stop to think about it. He moves towards that. And that if I say, hey, we should go over here and help this person, he okay, what do we need to do? You know, so that commonality has kept us, you know, going through churches that we've been in, and okay, that person needs it. What are we going to do? Okay, let's open up our house. Let's do whatever, and to really try to include people who are authentic and who have brokenness and are willing to talk about it and to be real. That's what we try to embrace and bring into our lives and into our home. We're in really hard times and in ways that none of us have really seen before, but if you read the books, they have been there before. And so we're in a time where we're in a certain story that has already been there.
Correct.
What I so appreciate about this time is the light that shows up in the world in the darkness. So like Minnesota's light shone brightly.
Yes.
And when I would stand with those people to observe and to bring food for our neighbors, I was standing next to the light. I was standing next to what Mr. Rogers says, find the helpers. And so I was just amazed at the energy when you stepped into that crowd, the just the feeling of, oh my gosh, we're not alone. We're all over. We just it's not being talked about in the way that we're feeling it. So
And if you listen to the media and what they're trying to feed to us, it's like everybody hates everybody,
Right.
and hate's where it's at right now, and it's like that's couldn't be farther from the truth. Raising two strong-willed young ladies, and I learned not early enough to let them be who they are, but now they've turned into lovely people. Life is sweet, life is wonderful. We're still in a great place to live today, and I love you guys dearly, and I would do anything for you, and just keep pushing. I'm so proud of them both for what they do with their lives, how they're so involved in their communities and involved with their significant others, and I'm just proud as a peach of my girls. And
What about
wife.
that stock?
Oh yeah, well that's and I did buy stock in Depends Company so I can buy diapers for my kids when I get old. But that's just a natural, I think.
my kids have been the most important thing that I have ever had in my life. They've taught me so much about the world that we live in through the years, through the different, through what I didn't know, and unfortunately they had to learn with me some of the things about ourselves, about what we didn't know how to parent, that the graciousness that they gave us in it as we worked through all of that. I want them to know that they, the gift that they are to us, and being with us and helping us also as we've helped grow them and teach them things. They've taught us so much.
Wow.
And that that they are two of the most incredible lights in the world that I know of. That they have the compassion and the ability to see people that other people don't see. That they want to be the helpers. That they want to see the people that aren't seen, and they want to help. I want them to know that they have given voice to people they don't probably even always know. And so I want them, as we leave this earth, and we will, and if they're behind, to know that there will never have been a greater gift to us than them. That they just really provided us with the continued growth of ourselves, and they're their own angels in the places they stand. That's what I like them to know.
What a perfect ending. The picture says it best. Through every season, two people choosing each other, side by side, still in love.
We want to say goodbye, serenata,
Goodbye.
adios,
Hasta la vista.
hasta la vista. Until next time, thank you for watching our stories of legacy.